Welcome to another episode of Sports and Discourse with your host, Derek Stevenson. And I had to bring my guy back, Reginald Brown, one of my favorite Louisville fans, because it's been a lot going on with the Louisville basketball program. And today, I got to figure out if Kenny Payne is the right guy for the job. So, the first thing I want to ask you, my guy, is after 4 games, give me a letter grade.
After 4 games, I'll give him a C minus.
A C?
Because he has struggled on some things. And like the game where the player hit a buzzer beater to beat us, we had timeouts to give. So whenever you have, I'm not talking about we have fouls to give. So whenever you have fouls to give, you don't let no man get no shot off. You foul him until you're out of fouls, then you play defense. Which at the time I thought was a good thing to do. Just go ahead, play it out. And he just hit a tough shot. You can't get mad if he hits a tough shot.
Yeah, for sure. And a lot of people criticize Calipari for different things like that, man. You think that's where he's getting some of that from?
Man, I really think he's getting it because he's a first time head coach, and people really was like, well, why would we hire him? He's a first time head coach, and this and that. We know what that means when they start doing that. They'll say it's not the reason. They'll say, "Oh, we love these type of players and all that." No, you didn't really want Kenny, so you're gonna be negative on everything he does.
Right.
Especially for the people who didn't want him.
I got you. So let me ask you this, right? So his reputation, especially at Kentucky, and well, we can even say in the NBA too. So a lot of people give a lot of credit to Calipari's success to Kenny Payne, especially when it comes to like him having relationships with the high school recruits. He even put the poster up with the kids that he recruited and he was developing in the NBA and such like that. And he had some Kentucky guys on there and, different things like that. So he has a reputation of being a excellent recruiter and a developer of talent, especially, he got a lot of credit for Kentucky's big man, right?
Right.
So what I want to ask you is, with basically the way the game is changing and evolving, the traditional big man is definitely getting phased out of the game. Most of the time, they want guys that's playing face-up basketball. It's no real true, well, I ain't going to say it's none left, but it's very few true traditional back-to-the-basket centers. And a lot of these guys, they're not staying around to be developed anyways in college. So basically, with this transfer portal and everybody jumping in the draft, how do you think he's dealing with that so far?
Well, I know he missed on this year's transfer portal, and it's going to be an adjustment. Listen, Kenny left Kentucky and went to the NBA for 2 or 3 years, if I'm not mistaken. He was there. I think he was there the whole year. Mac was there. Mac was at Louisville, so he was been in the NBA for 3 years. So when you not here to develop them relationships with them recruits when they're young, especially his 23 class. In his 23 class, he didn't really have. He got one player, which is Curtis Williams, is the number 1 player in Michigan. You have Caleb Lynn, which they'll say was a MAC recruit, but he signed with Kenny. When you're not here to be on the trail, be on that recruiting trail, getting them kids ears, especially with the DJ Wagner situation. How long has Cal been in that boy's life?
Well, Cal says he's known him ever since he was born, which I believe that's the case just because he's so close to his father.
How long has Kenny been in that situation?
I mean, I don't know what his relationship to them is, but
from previous back to Kentucky, but you got to think, Cal has been everything to that boy. He helped his father. He's been there since day one. Louisville fans wanted to involve overnight. This year's transfer portal, he reached out in Monty Bates, Tyrese Hunter, But how can you tell a kid, hey, come here? This is before the ARP even made that decision. Before we knew we wasn't getting no band. How can you tell a kid, hey, come here and play for me? And let's, get this shit rocking, get Louisville back on top. And you got another coach saying, why would you go to Louisville? They're gonna be banned this year. They got a cloud over them. They're gonna be banned for 2 years. I would use that if I'm recruiting against Louisville when they had this over their head. Why would you go there? They're gonna be banned 2 years. Oh, they gonna get the death penalty. They was already on probation from the strippers. So how do you think the NCAA is gonna come down on them then? Then as a kid, you thinking these kids want to showcase their talent in March, not in November, December, January. It's all about March in college basketball. They want to be able to showcase their talent so they can get to the next level.
Do you
and
think?
I feel like Kenny was already at a disadvantage because when he got hard. If we would have did what Seth Greenberg said and hard Kenny back when we fired Mac, went on and hard Kenny in January, February, so he could hit the recruiting trail, so he can get to know some of these players. He came in the summer. Some of these players already know what they're doing.
Yeah, that's true. Do you think that I know it probably wasn't possible for him to really get in with these recruits, but especially not for this season right here. But do you think that it's possible that he still could have reached out and got a little bit more done in the transfer portal? Oh shit! I think he froze up. Did you hear what I said?
No, I didn't hear that question.
So I was basically saying, he really didn't have enough time to get in with the recruits for this season, especially. But was you kind of shocked, or did you expect him to be able to do more with the transfer portal for this season?
I really the transfer portal persuade some kids to come here, but after they saw a couple kids, I think they were just like run out coaching ability, and I'm just gonna hit the 24 class hard because in the 24 class he has been hitting it hard. We've had multiple 5-stars on campus. We got a guy that's in the 24 class, Trenton Stokes. He plays out in California, but he's from Louisville. The one kid that we posted in the group, he's dunking light-skinned kid with dreads. And I think the 24 class is going to be a lot more better for Kenny. And a lot of people, they want to say that his stance on NIL is garbage. Like, why wouldn't you tell a kid, come here, we got all the money in the world? And people will put that narrative out there that he said he's not going to use NIL when he didn't say that. What he said is it's not going to be his primary focus. We got NIL money. I mean, why wouldn't Louisville have NIL money? But I'm not going to go in there and say, hey, I got $3 million for you. Especially if you're trying to build a culture. You want a kid to come here for that culture, not just for that money.
Right.
You want to build a brand.
And that's what I was going to ask you too. I'm glad you touched on that. How do you feel about that? Like, so you think that they should lead with just developing the culture versus that? Because I feel like a lot of kids nowadays, I feel like they are definitely looking for that money, man. And have you, what have you been getting from the players that's already on the team? Have they really been like getting deals and things like that, or like how's it actually been for NIL with the current players?
A couple players got some local deals. Like Mike James got a deal with a T-shirt hooligan. It's a T-shirt company. Sidney Curry got a deal with I won't say with Jeep. Eli Ellis got a couple deals with a couple with a crypto guy and a couple other things. Now, I'm not saying Kenny shouldn't lead with NIL. No, I'm not saying he should. What I'm saying is put it into your culture. Like, I heard we're gonna come here and build a brand. We got NIL money. I can guarantee you this. Louisville's a big city. It's money here. Like, You got KLC here. You got Junior Bridgman who owns Young. You got other little Lexuses who can give kids NIL deals. I'm not saying make it. I'm not saying not to use NIL, but I understand where he's coming from, where he said he wants to build a culture.
Right.
And Cal might be using NIL. It's not the first thing. When he comes to a kid's room, who wouldn't want to play for Kentucky?
Right.
It's Kentucky basketball. But that's how Kenny wants Louisville. He wants kids to know, wow, that's Louisville basketball. Not just, oh, well, you're doing it because they don't offer the most money. If you're doing that for the most money, you might as well go play overseas.
Right. Okay, so basically what I'm getting from you is you feel like you might have to take some bumps early in his tenure in Louisville, and he's going all in 2024. But what I want to ask you next is, you know, last year y'all was struggling a little bit. I think y'all was 13-19, and I don't think y'all won more than 13 games since 2019. And y'all's last tournament appearance was 4 years ago. And with the way that the fans are already reacting now, because I know you've been kind of having some issues with them, do you think that this will blow up before 2024, or you think they will actually like give him enough time to get there?
Oh, they got to give him time. He definitely got this year and next year. But you see how short his lease is, though, which is unfair. Because Mac had 4 years, and he didn't accomplish shit in 4 years. These are Mac's recruits. They learning a whole new system. They learning how to play fast-paced basketball. They're learning how to press. They're learning the dribble drive. Mac didn't teach all that. It was backline defense and emotion offense. We don't have the players to run the dribble drive. He has to teach it. He has to embed that into them. And like he said, the practices, they haven't been great. But me personally, I've seen improvement each game. But I just want him to put it together for 40 minutes.
Yeah, for sure. And it's kind of tough because y'all, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but every single game y'all lost by 1 point, right?
1 point. Now, if we was 3-0, would we hear this?
Nah, definitely not.
Now, if we 3-0 and we won by 1, okay, you might have said, oh, we beat nobody by 1. We beat such and such by 1. Or we losing the mid-majors and stuff like teams don't lose the mid-majors. Like, Bellarmine won their conference the last 2 years. They're a tournament team if they are able to make the tournament because of a bullshit NCAA rule. Wright State made the tournament last year.
Yeah, you got a point. So I know we had talked a little bit earlier in the summer, and you had some predictions, and you were saying that you felt like a successful season. If I remember correctly, you said, did you say make the tournament? Right, yeah, that's what I thought. So you said make the tournament. So now, let me ask you again, with what you've seen so far, and I know you said they've been improving, but do you still feel like tournament is a successful season for Louisville, and do you think that they can actually make the tournament at this point?
We have to steal some games in Maui. It's not hard. It's really not hard. I thought they would be farther along than where they are. But there's a chance. You never know. A team can get hot. And make a tournament. And I think they can get close. If they can put it together after Maui, we got a couple games where I feel like we can win. We know how to steal a couple games from a couple top teams. But I'm still gonna always stand on my stance. I'm not gonna never change it up. I feel like if we can make the tournament, if he makes a tournament this year with this team, then he deserves more time. Don't give him an extension.
Right.
Because this is not his players. These are somebody else's players that he's coming in and playing with. And let's be honest, our best player right now so far is Eli Ellis. He's averaging damn near eight turnovers a game. So we can cut down on turnovers. For real, like it don't matter how many points you score. You can score 30 points. but you got 2 assists and 8 turnovers.
Right.
So if we can cut down on turnovers, play as a team, get Sidney Carey going, because people fail to realize our second best player, who's supposed to be our second best player, hasn't got going yet. So if we can get him out of the slump, I just see making the tournament being a successful season. I'm not gonna never turn my back on Kenny because I have faith in him.
Right. So what are you looking at as far as like y'all's finishing the ACC? Like where you think y'all stand at?
They got us finish the second to last. I say we'll finish mid-pack, top 8. I don't see us finishing top 8 because the ACC really not that strong this year. You got to think Florida State's 0-4. Mm-hmm. Who would have thought Florida State would be 0-4 right now?
Yeah, for sure.
But it's early. It's November.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of hard because I kind of feel like even though I thought Kentucky would be a little farther along, I feel like with them not getting to play them first couple games with Oscar, I feel like against Michigan State they kind of looked a little lost. So I'm kind of anxious to see what they're gonna look like today against the Zags, because I need to get a feel for what type of team they're gonna be against competition. So I definitely understand what you're saying. I feel like a lot of teams are gonna take some bumps early this year. I don't really feel like there's no standout team that just looked super dominant. It looked like a bunch of average teams that's trying to figure some stuff out.
Look, Baylor lost to Virginia last night.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a lot.
Colorado just beat Texas A&M, who's a top 25 team, by damn near 30. Put 103 on them.
Yeah, I think
it's college is wide open.
Yeah, that's the feeling that I'm getting. I ain't really got to watch North Carolina yet, but I know even though they've been winning, I feel like a lot of people have been saying they've been struggling too. So it feel like it's a lot of teams trying to figure it out, man. But with that being said, everybody, they always talking about the Kentucky fans and how crazy we are. But like I said, you have been going back and forth crazy with the Louisville fans, and I even heard you say that you starting to feel like the Louisville fans is just as crazy as the Kentucky fans. So what's your gripe with the Louisville fans right now, man?
It's the gripe. Okay, look, I don't have a problem with you criticizing Kenny about the team. Hey, criticize away. But when you call for this man's job after 3 games, you calling for him to be fired after 3 games. That my impression right there is I already know how you feel. Just come on out and admit it. Don't hide. Admit it. Admit, because he's black. You wanted him fired. We didn't do it with Mac. Give him time, this and that. But Mac came in with a team that was nice. So, man, these fans, man, they did me headaches, bro. Like, I had to shut Twitter down for the day. From that day I was going at him. Yeah, I just had to give it a break, bro. Like, I just don't get it. I don't understand it. But like I said, there are the true fans that's gonna stick by Kenny. And once he get his players in, we don't see what them fake fans is about.
Right.
We don't see.
And speaking of that, man, it's always when it comes to attendance and different things like that, it's always seems like it's usually Syracuse, Kentucky, and Louisville, for them top several spots with most fan attendance. But it kind of seemed like things is looking a little sketchy with the Louisville fans. They not selling out like they normally do. Do you think it's just because they ain't playing the competition right now? Or do you think that the fans is trying to make a point that they unhappy with the program?
They trying to make a point. They're trying to make a point. That's fine. Fans like myself will be in there. You just giving more tickets. You just keep doing what you're doing. You just putting more tickets out there so me and the fans like myself can go buy. We can finally go to the games now.
Right.
I'm not worried about attendance. It's just the product too. If you start getting 5 stars, 4 or 5 stars in here, then you'll see that change. And then it's all about who you play to.
Do you think that it's any possible way that things could continue in the direction that they are now, and that the fans would actually completely call for the job, and Kenny may end up stepping down or being fired? Do you think it's any possible way that could happen this season?
No, I don't think it is. I think the AD Josh Hurd, I think he has faith in Kenny, and he even said it when he hired Kenny. It's going to be a process. Even Kenny said it. Give him time. Give him time. And the fans who ain't giving them time, they'll hop off the bandwagon. But as soon as we land the first 2 or 3 5-stars, here they come right back. And I just want them to stay away. Don't cheer for another team. If you feel like that, if you can't be with me when I'm down, why you gonna be with me when I'm up? That's fake. It's fake, man. I'm here through thick and thin. Shit, we just been through 5 years of hell. What's 1 more year?
Now I agree with you, man. Like I was saying, they hadn't been in the tournament for the last 4 years.
And people will say, well, we got banned. The tournament got banned that 1 year, and we would have made the tournament. But the year that they talking about, when I think UK, they beat us in Rupp, we lost our last 6 or 7 games. We looked horrible going into the tournament. That's one big gripe they was talking about Louisville before they went on and canceled it. They was like, can the Taurus bounce back? We was ranked number 1 that year at that time of that year. But look at the players he had on that team. You had a Jordan Noah, Stephen Enoch. You had point guard play, David Johnson. You had a bench where you can go to the bench. He can't even go to the bring players off the bench. That's why Hersey Miller's playing so much. Because the other kid, Devin Reed and Fabio, who is supposed to be taking those minutes, that's why you see Zan Payne playing. They not up to speed.
Yeah.
I'm teaching you a lesson. You're not playing, so let's get to practice on time. Like they showing up late to practice. Like you said, it's once you get your mind right, then you can go ahead and deserve, win. Like you said, win and learn. They learning.
How do you feel about his coaching staff so far? Because everybody was kind of making a big deal about that too. Like he was bringing in the all-star staff. Do you feel like they've been, living up to the hype, or like how you feel about them guys?
Yeah, they living up to the hype. That's what people. I knew it was going to come down to that. Kenny Payne, Nolan Smith, Danny Manning. They're not playing. They're not out there playing. I can only take you so much and tell you so much. Eventually, it's gonna click. Now, for people who didn't play organized basketball under the whistle, because I played football and basketball under the whistle, sometimes it's not gonna click. Sometimes at practice, my coach had to tell us, "Oh, y'all want we running set plays. Hey, run this right. We running baseline. You don't want to run the plays right. Go to the baseline. Let's run." Until you get that, okay, now it's fluent. The ball's moving, this and that. We not turning the ball over. It's all a process, especially these kids been through. Last year, that coach quit on them. Mid-season, quit. And they trying to learn a whole new system, a whole new defense. I just give them time, man. Give them time. One stat I want to say is, and I heard this yesterday, Louisville started 0-3 in 86.
Really?
0-3.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And they won it in 86.
Right. They figured it out. So, well, since you said that, when or how many games in would you start to really feel like, okay, they either should have figured it out by now or they just don't know what they're doing? Because when it comes to Kentucky, I'm going to give them about 12 games.
About 12, 13 games.
12, 13. And you feel like...
Then you got you've been in a whole month. You've been in a whole, playing games a whole month. Like some of these kids on this team don't have simple basketball IQ. And a lot of these young kids don't have basketball IQ. And AAU has killed that.
Yeah, I blame
them for that.
Yeah.
It's not simple basketball fundamentals. box out. Like my coach used to say, put your ass on somebody and move back. Box out. Okay? Don't jump and try to make the pass.
Yeah, one thing that I used to tell people when Calipari first came here, and he would have his superstar guards like John Wall and them boys. But the thing that I used to tell people is, man, it's going to take them a little while just to figure out how to play against competition again, because the majority of their games, it's just too easy for them, and they rely mostly off athleticism and different stuff like that more than they do their fundamentals and situations like that. So I feel like it takes a lot of the younger kids. Like you said, it might take them a month or even sometimes 2 months before they just figure out what they capable of doing against. Yeah,
you feel me? It's like like you go to work and you learn a job. You're not gonna be good on that job your first couple of weeks, but once you start doing it after a while, it gets used to it. You keep doing it. It's like repetitive.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man. It looked like they definitely got a lot of work to do. I'm gonna keep my eye on them. I might even go to a couple of games. One of my partners, man, he got season tickets. I said, man, I'll check out a couple of games with y'all. I just told him, I said, man, I can't wear Louisville gear though, bro. I said,
that's fine.
I said I might have to throw on my UK, but if you can't handle that, I said I'm just gonna have to go neutral, man. I said I can't wear Louisville gear, but I said I'll definitely go up there.
Wear some black or something.
Yeah, I might be able to do that for y'all, man. But yeah, I look forward to checking things out. I've never been to a game in Yum yet, so
Right.
I look forward to getting it in this year, man. But
I just
anyway,
want to see how they play, because Monday we play Arkansas, it's a first ranked team.
Oh yeah,
and, you gotta get up for teams like that. I want to see how they come out and how they respond.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check that one out. Like I said, man, a lot of teams about to start getting tested. Kentucky got a pretty nice schedule where I could see them dropping a few. Things could get ugly in Lexington because it's a lot of people that just kind of fed up with Coach Calipari, even though they've had a decent amount of success at Kentucky. I try to tell people, I say, man, if you took everything away and you just look at what happened and you got a coach that gave you a championship and 4 Final Fours in 13 years, you would probably be satisfied. I said, but everybody sees the talent. Everybody hears Calipari so focused on what his kids do in the pros and different things like that. And I said it's caused a lot of the fans to really look at things a little sideways. I think they thought they would get more championships out of this freshman reload situation, and they haven't. So this is definitely a big year for a lot of basketball programs, I think. It's going to be a big year for North Carolina to see what Hubert Davis does after what he ended up accomplishing. I think
back.
Yeah, so we got to see what they do. It's going to be a lot of pressure on John Shire, replacing Coach K, Kenny Payne, Calipari. It's a lot of coaches that's going to be under some pressure. Mark Few, because I feel like Mark Few been skating under the rug. He been hiding a little bit, and I think it's time for people to start looking at him a little wild, like they do all these other coaches, man.
Yeah, he definitely got to hear the music, hear the noise.
Yes, sir.
They think about Donzetta joining the Big 12, so
I wouldn't mind seeing that happen. Actually, they need to get some real tests, man.
Yeah, he always his schedule. He know his conference schedule is weak, so he does schedule tough teams. I will say that he does schedule the Dukes, well, now he got a schedule with y'all,
Yeah.
UK, and hopefully Louisville get back to the part we can get on that schedule.
Yeah, for sure, man. I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, man, I'm sure we'll do it again. We'll have to check back in and see
mid-season review.
Yeah, for sure, man. Well, anyways, I appreciate you being on the show, man, and we'll get back at it next time, brother.
No problem, brother. Hey, thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Sports and Discourse, Derek Stevenson.